Hey, welcome to the Live Full podcast, where we talk about all things faith, family, and living fully the life God wants for you. On today's episode, it's a very special one as we close this season. We're going to be talking about marriage, and this is for better or for worse. Now, today is a very special day. The day that we release this podcast is actually the day of our anniversary.
It is. Happy early anniversary
Yes.
today, I guess, or on the day it's released. Happy anniversary to us.
And I didn't plan for it to coincide with our anniversary, but it
Yeah.
just so happened to be.
So and whoever's watching it now, if you're watching it on the 8th of September, we might be out having our anniversary lunch,
That's true.
which we have already booked.
We've
So,
already booked.
and
Thank you for booking.
and enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I wanted to talk a bit about marriage actually today, since it is our anniversary, right? It's pretty significant. It's been 13 years.
Yeah.
And obviously, these 13 years, when the day that we walked down the aisle, that was very exciting. I walked down the aisle. You didn't walk down the aisle.
No.
I
was
walked
like,
down the aisle.
walk down the aisle? I don't think I did it. I watched you walk down the aisle.
But we made our vows and commitment before God
Mm-hmm.
and so many others
Yeah.
on that day. It was an important day, right? It was not just to wear a nice dress and to look pretty
Yep.
or look handsome in your case, but it's actually significant because we made a promise to each other.
Yeah.
And that promise holds true today, thankfully,
Yes.
but it's not without its difficulty.
13 years we've been married and it's been good. I think this is a good season. But obviously, any marriage, ups and downs. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of our passions definitely is to see marriages thrive.
Yeah.
Not just our own, but I think the people around us too. And just knowing too, as a result of what we've said this before, I think in earlier episodes or maybe the previous season, we talked about how we're believing that actually our marriage will get better with time.
Yeah.
That when we look at our lives, I don't know, 20, 30 years down the road, actually we can say our marriage is even better than it was ever before,
Yeah.
which is kind of a big thing to say.
It's cool. That's really my hope, right? Because you're going to be married so many years. So it better get better.
Yes, it better get better. I like that. And I agree, because why do you want to be in a marriage that you don't want to be in, right? And feel like you're stuck in?
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna be stuck with somebody for life, hey, make it fun,
Mm-hmm.
make it great,
Mm-hmm.
make it something that it's worth your lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think that's my conviction too.
Good.
Yeah, but there's been a few things I think over the course of maybe even more recently that has happened that I think made it a little bit more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it was difficult for us. I think pose some threat maybe to that covenant that we made.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'll start with this first one because this is a personal story.
Yeah.
And this first one really is kind of maybe for some people their marriages might look like this too, when one spouse might be a bit weaker than the other.
Yeah.
you know
And I think marriage is a journey, right? So I think there are going to be times when I need more of your support, which you've done so well, and then there are times when maybe you're needing me
Mm.
to step in a bit more because you're going through certain things personally or at work, and so on. And so God, calls us to be together, strengthen one another.
Yeah.
But there are times when, man, I need more of you, you need more of me, and that's a bit of that dance, right?
Yes.
That we go through. So.
Yeah. And I think for me, this kind of happened right. I don't think I've ever shared this story ever, publicly like this. But I think it's an important part of like our own marriage journey. I think after we had our third kid, so this is post like 2020, 2021 maybe.
Yep.
I remember we had attended like a wake together. And we're sitting down at that wake, and you are talking to the person, the family, and we've done many wakes. I mean, we've seen many wakes, so this is not my first one. We sat down there, and I remember feeling like really strange in that moment.
Yep.
I felt like a bit detached from the whole situation. So I can see people like talking. I can see like people talking to me too. You are talking to someone else. I can see my hands. I can see like physically I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
But what was really strange was I felt like I was not there at the same time. I was like detached from that very scene that I was sitting at. And not just that, I felt like my legs, my hands, my head, my face
Yeah.
started to become very like tingly.
Yep.
And it was a very strange feeling. But because we were sitting there, I mean, trying to help somebody go through a period of grief, right?
Yeah.
Helping somebody, experience go through that a very difficult time in their life. I felt like I couldn't say anything to you.
Mm.
I remember on the ride home, we were, I think, with your parents, and so I also couldn't tell you. I couldn't say like, "Hey, this is what I'm feeling." I thought maybe it's just very weird. But what I do remember thinking is, I feel like I might die. Like this was how I thought. I know it's a very big jump to make, right?
Mhm.
From something like that. But I felt like maybe I'm gonna die. Like, why is it that I'm feeling this way? I remember that night when I put the kids to bed,
Mm.
I was holding our youngest one, like feeding her, right? And I was done feeding, and then it was your turn to like put her to bed. And as I said goodnight to her, as I said goodnight to the kids, what was very difficult for me that I still remember till today is that I remember thinking, maybe this is the last time I'm gonna see them.
Mm.
And right after this, I'm gonna tell you like what I'm feeling, what I'm going through,
Mm.
and I need you to take me to the hospital so that we can figure out what's going on because I
Yeah.
felt like completely out of whack.
Yeah.
After that happened, I still felt some of these like physical, signs or symptoms for a while, but it went away. So I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus,
Mm.
I'm okay now. So then
Mm.
I stopped. But I was a bit concerned because it happened a few more times,
Yep.
not in such magnitude, but it happened a few more times.
Mm.
And then I think I went to see a doctor to check, like maybe I'm having a heart attack. I don't know, like
Yeah.
why am I not being able to? Why
Yeah.
can't I? Why can't I feel
Yeah.
myself?
What did the doctor say? I don't actually remember.
And I remember like the doctor saying I was perfectly healthy, like my
Right.
bloods like all came out good.
Yeah.
My ECG was great. I mean everything. Like,
Mm.
and I tried to tell him all these things I was going through,
Yep.
and he just couldn't give me an answer. He's like, "Yeah, but everything is fine,"
Right. Which was even more confusing, right?
which was
Yeah.
even more confusing.
Yeah.
And there were nights when I would not be able to fall asleep. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
Like my heart would be beating like crazy,
Yeah.
and
You'd almost have to like change your environment, come out to
I
the
would,
hall, like sleep on
yeah.
the sofa for a minute.
This is even in our previous house. I
Yeah.
remember this.
Yeah.
Like I would have to come out of the room and then sleep outside for a bit. Not because I didn't want to sleep with
No,
you.
I was like, are you angry with me or what?
Yeah.
Like,
But I just needed to pull myself out of the environment so that I could get a change of like scene.
yeah.
Um and although I was never like medically diagnosed, um I think what
Yep.
I was experiencing was some anxiety attacks.
Right.
I think specifically like health anxiety,
Yeah.
maybe fueled by and certain things like certain lights. I don't know what kind of lights were they like. I told you this
Probably
before.
fluorescent lights.
Fluorescent
Just
lights.
white, like hazy
Yeah,
fluorescent
yeah.
lights.
And I think that was what, I mean, most wigs are like that. So
Yep.
it's not that particular person or whatever. It's just most wigs are that
Mm.
way. There's fluorescent lights on you.
Mm.
And all those were like some triggers maybe
Yep.
of like of my anxiety like coming out,
Right.
and it was a very difficult thing to come to terms with,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
yeah
And not and not something that I think we fully understood like at the time too. Because it was like you said, you went to the doctor and it's like, okay, totally fine. And so it was, I think for me, from my perspective, I was like, okay, I mean, I want to do what I can to like just support you,
yeah
like help you, pray with you, when it comes up, at least just be around to reassure you
yeah
that I'm there, and these things would pass,
yeah
right?
yep
And so even to be there and be like, hey, I'm here, like if you need anything, like, I can help you out. Hey, maybe we should just go for a walk,
yeah
like get a change of environment.
you are right. I think that's actually where our walk started,
Yeah.
because I found that our walks were very helpful. Just like taking a walk, because physiologically, right, it kind of sends like a lot of adrenaline,
Yeah.
so that helped.
Yeah. Or endorphins, I think.
Or maybe
Yeah.
endorphins, and then that helped a ton. But I think just to get out, change the environment a bit, made a huge difference.
Yeah, and it was I think I think we're both like, emotionally, mentally, like pretty like strong people. I think,
Mm,
we'll deal with adversity and, and it'll be fine. We'll
yep.
smash it out, whatever it takes. And so this was kind of an interesting experience, I
Yeah.
think, like for us.
Out of nowhere. It
Yeah,
felt like it was out of
yeah,
nowhere.
for you, I'm sure. And then for me, and so I was just thinking, okay, what can I do to support you? I read about
Mm.
you a book, right?
Yes. Which is, yeah, I think something that I think is worth noting that you were actually very understanding.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing about it because in times when, say, one is, the Bible talks about this, when one falls,
Yep.
actually the other
Can
person
help them
can
up.
help
Yeah.
them up, right? I wasn't alone, like trying to deal with this by myself.
Yeah.
You were very invested in not just helping me to go through bouts of my anxiety, but it was also like helping me to find breakthrough in it.
Yeah.
Like we would pray about it.
Yep.
You bought me a book
Yes.
that maybe I found, but it was like you
But I
bought it.
paid,
Yeah,
okay.
you paid
Yeah.
because it was showing me your investment in
Yes.
it. And you would also send me. I mean, at that time was like there was a lot of podcasts out there too. I would listen to them. You would send me podcasts too
Yep.
that would maybe be helpful
Yeah.
to understand like what I was going through.
Yeah. And I think too, like, I mean, we were married, obviously. We
Mm.
still are.
Oh,
Uh,
thank God.
but I think I had the advantage of having almost like an outsider view to what you were going through and what you were
Mm,
experiencing,
mm.
and recognizing what some triggers
Yeah.
would have been.
Yep.
And I think, over time, I think you probably got better at responding
Yes.
or finding ways to like, deal with it. So, for example, just getting out of your environment and going for a
Mhm.
walk, or I would be able to tell, hey, I think you're going through probably like a busier period right now,
Yes.
and that mental load or that
Yep.
emotional load leads to to things like this,
Yeah.
because your brain's very different than mine. Your brain's like always
Oh yeah.
full of stuff. You're always thinking about something. You dream crazy dreams,
Yeah. It's
that kind
true.
of thing. So I think like I had the privilege of like actually seeing, like
Yeah.
knowing you and then understanding. And sometimes I guess in that moment you're not always like aware
Mm.
of how you got into that situation.
Yes.
But I think I had that perspective to see like, hey babe, I think you're just picking on too many things.
Yeah.
I think maybe you should drop this and not worry about it till
Yep.
later, because if not, it's going to put you in a situation where, you start to feel like some of these things. Or maybe, hey, let's get out, let's go for a walk. Or
Yeah.
like, hey, like talk about it. Like, what are you feeling? Like, tell me about it. So it was a bit of process, a bit of a process of like trying to learn and understand, recognize like what you're going through, but then also recognize like what it is that maybe like led you into
Yes.
that situation, and try to find ways to help you like cope a bit better.
Yeah. The point about stress too, actually, I think what I appreciated too was you didn't like judge me
Yeah, yeah.
because I think a lot of times, you I think you handle stress in general a lot better than I can.
Yep.
Like so it wasn't even about like how come I can handle it but you can't, you
Mm.
know? How come I can go through like seasons of stress like this, but when you go through seasons of stress, actually you break down into this like,
Yep.
like anxiety attack or whatever. And it was none of that,
Yeah.
There was no judgment. And that helped me, I think, a
Yeah.
lot to not feel like I was alone in the journey.
Yeah.
It helped me to feel like not validated, but what I was going through actually was worth like your time,
Mm-hmm.
your effort, your energy.
Yeah.
And I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And many times, right, I think in marriage, one person is weaker,
Mm.
the other person is stronger. Another time maybe you are the weaker one.
Mm.
I'm stronger, right?
Mm.
But can we find that right dance almost,
Yeah.
to support each other, to almost say, okay, God, like maybe I don't have all the right responses, but can you help me to help my spouse in the best way possible and support them in the best way possible,
Yeah.
even in times like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the helpful things, especially when I wasn't sure what to do,
Hmm.
I think there were times when I would ask you, hey, like,
Yeah.
can I do anything to help?
Yes.
Like, what
Yeah.
can I do to help? Because maybe you know it better. And it could be something as small as, like, would you make me a cup of chamomile tea with honey?
Yes, it's true.
I mean, that's almost like your number one request, right?
Yeah.
Chamomile tea with honey,
I
like,
do. That's what I love.
solves every ailment.
It does. I don't
Uh,
know why.
but, even just to ask that question and be like, hey, like, is there something I can do? And if you said no nothing, then it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just be here. And I think I had to learn, I had to pivot away from the like, let me come problem solve and let me come fix this.
Oh yeah.
Or let me try to like encourage you into overcoming your problems.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
to like, hey, I'm here. Uh here's what I see,
Mm.
but actually is there anything that you feel now that would be helpful?
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe that even helped you to start thinking about like, oh yeah, actually maybe I might need X that I can't do for myself right now.
Yeah.
So can you come and help me with it? So even just a question like that,
Yes.
I feel like help me, know like what I could do in those moments.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think I could have done it without some of these um almost like you're pointing me to a certain direction,
Yeah.
like help me to think of it a certain way, a different way, even because many times my thought patterns are a certain way.
Yeah.
But because you are different,
Yes.
you can bring a different perspective. You can help me to see what I cannot see.
Mm.
And that helped a ton. Obviously, like the biggest thing to me was eventually over the years, it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
I can identify those triggers,
Yep.
and I mean, we won't go into all the details of how it was handled, but I think one of the biggest things to me was just seeing you like walk alongside me in
Yeah.
this process, and not being scared of it, not shunning
Yeah.
even the problem or the issue at hand, not being afraid to like deal with it head on.
Yeah.
I think you had empathy for it.
Right. I
Uh,
tried.
you
Yeah.
had a lot of empathy for it, which in cases like that was probably the most valuable thing. So
Yep.
I'm very, very grateful. And I think that hard time
Yeah.
really made us stronger, or it made me more confident about what we could do together,
Yeah.
as a result of that,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was one big one. I'm trying to think of another situation too that not happened not too long ago.
Yeah.
This was, I think we've shared this on the podcast before, that we were actually deciding on selling our house, right? A house that God had blessed us with,
Mm-hmm.
and we were making that transition. It was a
Yep.
very big decision. It was nothing small,
Yep.
huge one, but we did it out of faith. And we had just sold our first home.
Mm.
And thankfully, our parents were very kind to take us in while we were trying to figure out where this next place was and allowing God to lead us to the next place. It ended up being 2 years.
Yeah.
And though we knew that that was where God was leading us to,
Yeah.
because it was a season of transition,
Mm.
because it was a season of waiting,
Mm-hmm.
because it was a season of a lot of uncertainty,
Yep.
it posed a lot of difficulty for us too in the
Mm.
marriage.
Mm.
Yeah, you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah. I think the bigger thing was just about like navigating transitions, I guess,
Yes.
because that was one instance, but life is full of like those kinds of things where things would change,
Mm,
your normal rhythms change. I think maybe in that too, because we ended up not being in our own home,
yeah.
but being with my parents' home. I think your sense of like space
Yeah.
like also changed,
Mm,
you know. Um, and so I think it was like double effort to make sure like the marriage part doesn't change,
yeah.
you know?
It's true.
So we were just talking with a bunch of like couples, right,
Yeah.
from our church recently, and one of the things we said is like put first things first.
Yeah.
Like, cliche, but like I think I would add to that though, is like put first things first all the time.
Wow.
Because it's especially, I think what helped us a bit like in that time was, okay, things are changing, different home, uncertainty, all that, but what's not going to change is uh our marriage is still going to be like that first relationship, our decision making, because there were so many things that we had to decide,
Yeah.
like what house do we buy next, what kind of parameters are we putting in place, say, for the kids in this new environment, right? How are we going to relate, how are we spending our time, but I think what helped us was like, okay, but let this be first,
Yeah.
you know let's come to a common understanding on what the season's going to look like,
Yep.
and then like everything else just comes under that. You know what I mean? Obviously, like, knowing what God is speaking to us, that's primary, but everything like for us individually in the relationship,
Yeah.
for the kids, for the family, for the next decision, would come under what we choose to prioritize together.
Yeah.
like in our marriage. So I think that was one thing that probably helped us like get through that time of big transition. So when everything else was changing, this wasn't
Mm.
So I think that was important.
Yeah, because we all go through hard times. I think it's a common misconception. Like, for example, like pastors, they never go through a difficult marriage.
Mm.
Because in this case, I think what sometimes surprised me about it was we were walking in the will of God.
Yeah.
We were right in exactly what God wanted us to do.
Mm-hmm.
We had sold the home. I think we just started pastoring at that time too,
Yes.
and so we are not saying that we were out of the will of God, doing our own thing, like running our own lives.
Mm.
It wasn't even that. We were doing exactly what we were supposed to do,
Mm.
but yet we were experiencing like difficulty, I think, in our marriage. Like it wasn't quite where it should be.
Yeah.
And I think about this because sometimes people assume that just because you are doing, you're in church, you are
Mm.
doing everything you're supposed to do, with God, that everything will just go smoothly. You
Yeah.
don't have to do anything about it. You
Yeah.
don't put any effort.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
what was hard for you during that season?
I think one what you're saying. So like the way our marriage looked, our family look was different.
Yeah. Okay.
And in the season of waiting, I experienced many times like disappointment.
Mm.
There were many times that I think I even struggled with my own walk with God. Because in that waiting was very, very hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes I struggled to tell you
Hmm.
because I didn't want you to feel like discouraged
Right.
or upset.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were very busy at work.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not gonna add one more thing.
Yeah.
you know?
I think the other, yeah, I mean, we can unpack that a bit. I
Yeah.
think probably the other thing too that probably put some stress like on the marriage was actually moving back in with my parents. And we are eternally grateful to them.
Oh,
We love them,
so
still
much.
spend a lot of
Yeah.
time with them. But just that dynamic's different, like your
Yeah.
own home versus now like going back in there,
Absolutely.
and that almost that thing about attention, like how much my attention and priority was like still you and our family, and how much
Yeah.
of it was now kind of um shared,
Yep.
I guess, like in the context of that home where we're living together,
Yeah.
right? I think that was
Yeah.
probably like a big
Well, and I think I
difference.
understand like different seasons, but I think what I wasn't prepared for was how much it would affect me,
Mm,
you know? And because I think if one person feels a little like affected by something,
yeah.
whatever it is, it can be work, it can be, family, it can be, I mean, whatever you're
Yep.
going through, um, you bring it into the marriage, you
Mm,
bring it into your daily lives, and it can cause some tension sometimes,
yeah.
and I can think of many times even before this
Yeah.
that were very challenging.
Yeah. I mean, generally, you see more challenging moments in the marriage than I do.
We talked about this the last time too,
Yeah.
that you always said this, like, how come you always have more problems
Yeah.
that you can see than I do? But maybe I just struggled. Okay, here's how I would say it. I desired for it to be great a lot more
Right. Yeah.
than maybe you had imagined. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
Yeah. And so I think, hard times are inevitable. I think that's the bigger thing, right? You will face difficult times. It's been 13 years. Not every single year has been amazing. Not every single month was just like butterflies and roses.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing is this, that you choose to stay, that
Yeah.
you choose to remain.
I no, it's true. I was trying to think like, okay, those 2 years, was there, or even, whenever we go through hard times, do we always have some kind of magic formula?
Mm,
You know, oh, do this and it'll be fine. We love walks, but I was like, oh, go for a walk and it'll be fine. But like,
not all
no,
the time.
but no lah. I mean, honestly, in a lot of the situations,
Yeah.
there wasn't anything that you could clearly do to immediately make things better.
Mm,
Sometimes you just had to go through it,
yeah.
right? I think about, Psalm 23, where the psalmist says, like, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Like, there wasn't any, like, even though I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, I saw the path that led me out of the valley, like, into the mountaintop
Yes.
where it's no longer, there was none of that. it was just like, no, I have to go through it. And a lot of the times, like in marriage, in our lives, like I can't say like we found all of these like magic keys that help us to get out
Mm,
of it. But I think probably the one key was, I think what you just said, like stay,
yeah.
like choose to remain,
Stay and fight.
choose to stay the
Mm.
course. When it feels like there's no way out, I look at you, you look at me. Do we have a like way out of this? Like I don't know. I think God, like when this season is done, like we'll be very thankful, please, like quickly. But at least as far as marriage is concerned,
Yeah.
like just remain,
Mm,
just stay the course,
yeah.
and
Well, we made a vow to each other. We made a covenant, like before God, before everybody,
yeah,
right? And that's got to mean something. I think in today's world, society, culture, actually, sometimes they tell you when it gets hard, leave,
yeah,
right? When it's hard, quit.
yeah,
When something spoils, throw it away, right?
yeah,
Don't fix it, you
yeah,
know?
or like
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe not even so flippant. It's just like, well, it was irreconcilable difference,
Yes, yes.
you know,
Yeah.
or it was some dispute that just couldn't be resolved,
You see
and
no way out, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is something that, and maybe we can talk about this a bit, like uh were there ever times when you felt that way or thought that way? I think I don't think I can continue with it. I think I'm gonna, now we say, yeah, okay, we've decided, but were there ever times when you're just like, I'm done?
Many times. um I'm very, very human about this, but it is the reality. I think there were many times that, especially early on in our marriage, when I just felt like there was no end to this. Like it keeps happening. It was a cycle that kept on going on. Like, and this could be something that I felt like the way you treated me, some things that you said, that sort of thing. And I just felt like there is no way out. It
Mm,
always happens like that. We always talk about the same things,
mm,
and I felt like there's no way out. The only way out is if we end this. Is
right.
if there was, I don't know, like marry somebody else. I think I've ever thought about that too. Because clearly I'm not the right fit.
Yeah,
Or clearly like this is not working out for us.
yeah,
And sometimes it's not really like a big argument that leads to that.
yeah,
It's just in my head, I'm like, there is no out. I mean,
yeah,
there is no way out of this
yeah.
situation.
What was the thought pattern? So I think as you talk about it, I think I see.
Mm-mm.
Maybe we can talk about this. We would um say argue or
Yeah.
disagree about a certain thing. Let's say, I mean, the most common one you always tell me is, you're so busy, you have no time for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
You know, and then we'll talk about it, and that will get settled, and then uh you know a few months later or something, like the same thing will come up again, and then what's your thought pattern in those moments? Say the second time or the third time, like what goes through your head, or like
Yeah.
what went through your mind that
Yeah.
led you to this, like, I think there's just no way this can be resolved, like.
Yeah, I think many times it's happened again and again. I can't fix it.
Mm,
It felt like maybe God, you're not fixing it either. Like nothing is happening to make this work.
mm,
I don't know how to make it work anymore. And so maybe the better thing is to end it.
right.
Because I think whenever difficulties happen or like when there are hard times like that, I feel very like I feel like I'm in a box
Yep.
that I can't get out of.
Yep.
I feel like there's no solution. I don't know where else to look already.
Yeah.
We've tried it feels like we've tried everything,
Right.
you know? And so I am done. I wanna walk out,
Yeah.
I think I have contemplated walking out the house before.
Right.
Not to leave the family. I just need some time to breathe
Just to
and
leave
think about it.
just to leave me.
No, no, no. Not to actually like leave the marriage,
Yep.
but like I just need to leave the house to like get my mind straight maybe, and to just
Yeah.
leave this environment because I can't think straight. Like the
Yeah.
emotions are too much for me. And maybe that's part of me too.
Mm.
The emotions are very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And that takes over everything else. Like it takes away like being rational.
Yep.
It takes away like the covenant that we've made. It
Yeah.
takes away some of these in the moment, like in the heat of the moment.
Right.
I give in to that. But that's something I've had to learn.
Yeah.
That's something I've had to I think work through in my own heart too. We've talked about this,
Yeah.
that we will never speak about an out.
Yep.
No matter how hard things are, no matter how difficult things are, we will never let our mind wander that way
Yeah.
or let our lips like say it out loud.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
that I'm done. You
Yeah.
know, never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When, I mean, you would think that, okay, that was decided at the point of the vows,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when did you feel like there was that revelation, of like, okay, I'm just never going to open that door?
Mm.
And how has that helped you, you know?
Yeah. I remember a pastor saying it once. I think we were at some marriage conference thing.
Mhm.
And it's not that I didn't know this, right?
Yeah,
Obviously,
I'm
you
sure you
said
know it. Yeah.
this is a vow I made before many people. I made before God. I know what I said.
Yep.
But um it's very tempting to break it when you are overwhelmed with your emotions, like what I mentioned.
Yeah.
But I think what switched it for me was you just make a decision about something
Yeah.
and you stick to it.
Yeah.
and and if it and if it's declaring and using your lips or even your mind, like you have control over it,
Right.
you know. And it was my decision to say I will not say that again,
Yeah.
or I will never think that again.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not like, okay, I don't think I've ever said to you I want a divorce now.
No, we've never used that word.
No, we've
right?
never.
Yeah.
But it's things like, maybe I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah, and I would be like, I mean, honestly, in those moments, I always felt like just preaching to you. It was like, you made a vow, you better stick to it. Like, are you saying that what we promised before God, you're
Yeah.
not going to keep to? I mean, that was always like, because I'm less, I think, emotional.
Mm.
When things go up or go down, even if like the same thing comes up now, to me, I'm like, well, it's a process.
Yeah.
We're imperfect, like
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. So I just think about it differently. And whenever you would say like, I I don't think I can go through with this anymore. I always felt like, dude, are you hinting at like that big D word? Are you
Yes.
trying to say something? But
That big D.
but I think like for me, I had a level of faith and confidence that your heart was still in the right place. I think you still had a fear of God, and I
Yeah.
think and a commitment to the vow that we made.
Yes.
And so I don't know. This is my own decision. I'm not saying it's like how it all is. I just had a trust that I think you would come around, and I
Mm.
would pray, talk to you, but I never came down hard to be like, hey, no divorce. Do you understand? And I
Okay,
think
but maybe
so.
that's
I don't know if it would have helped you if I'd actually just said it. Like,
no,
do you
not at
think,
all.
right? Because I feel like you
Not
would
at
have
all.
been. Cause I think your thought process would have been like, you're already like, like going
Yeah,
through so
yeah,
many
yeah.
problems, and now you're trying to lay a law like on me.
Yes, yes.
I feel like that would have been even more triggering
That'd
for
been
you, right?
very unwise,
Yeah.
actually.
So okay, so I made the wise decision.
No, 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 absolutely. And again, marriage is a dance,
Yeah.
right? I think you have to be very careful, especially in moments of tension like that, in hard times like that. What are you saying, you know? And I think I realized I was being a bit too loose-lipped about it. If I say things like, I cannot do this anymore, I'm done. Actually, what helped me was also the fact that you told me this. You said, I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
And when you said that to me, actually, it gave me hope.
I really never have.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like as plain as day. Like, whatever
So when
happens.
you said that, I think it gave me a boost of encouragement, because I I used to think you're not working on our marriage as hard as I'm working on it,
Mm.
you know? But when you told me that, actually I've never thought about that as a way out.
Yep.
I've never like thought, that's never crossed my mind. Then I was like, oh wait, actually he is working on our marriage. Actually, that's his way of doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not how I'm imagining it. He's not doing it the way I want him to.
Yeah.
But actually he's committed.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot. I think that gave me a huge encouragement. Because I was just thinking about this, a few months ago, we made this amazing trip to New York, right?
Yep.
Just a huge blessing, because we were going for your friend's wedding.
Friend's wedding. I went to solemnize his wedding.
Yeah, so that was amazing. And it was a surprise second honeymoon that we never asked for. But God was super kind, right, to give us that opportunity, that window to do that together. It was such a good time. Honestly, so many unforgettable moments. Loved it. And you would think, wow, that's the height of our marriage, right? Wow, what could go wrong after that?
Yep.
Wow, things turned very quickly, right? Later on.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this is very recent, in the last few months, right?
Yep.
Tested it again and again and again. It was very challenging. But it took one conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right? It took one conversation where we could, you know, how when the couple in the marriage, and I'm sure a lot of you might have experienced this too, when you feel like a bit detached from your spouse, the spouse also feels detached from you,
Yep.
but you have no time to talk about it.
Yeah.
You have no energy to talk about it. And in fact, you're a bit tired of talking about it already.
Mm.
Because maybe you've talked about it many times, right?
Mm.
But I think our breakthrough moment was when we actually sat down and be like, let's just smash this out.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Bad way, not a
Yeah.
bad way. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were just in our bedroom.
Yeah.
I think I sat on one side of the bed.
Yes.
I
I
think
think on the floor.
I probably sat on the floor because it's like, we gotta like pull ourselves to this thing. I really don't, the bed is like sacred, like this is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like a
yeah.
bed moment.
Yes, yes.
I'll sit on the floor and then
Yeah.
just smash it out, man. And
Yeah.
it's probably, I don't know, a couple of hours or something,
Mm.
like just to process like the last 3-4 months,
Yep.
like how quickly like it went from this mountaintop experience to like
Yes.
we're just like trudging through the valley right
Yeah.
now. And always just, yeah, and by the grace of God and just by that, like we're gonna grit our teeth and
Have the
do
hard
this,
conversation.
yeah, and have the hard conversation, because I mean that's the only way you're going to smash through and reverse like whatever you're going through, right? You just got to confront it, because anyway we're gonna be in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
So you want to walk through the valley forever, or you're gonna like, try and work your way out,
Yes.
and do it. And so I think just that, I don't know, just that resolve to be like, this is just gonna get better.
Yeah.
We're just gonna work this out.
Yeah.
We're not walking away.
Yep.
100% no.
Yep.
So well, if you're not gonna walk away, then make it the best you can be, lah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I think I moved from sitting on the floor to, as like things warmed up. Okay, I went sat on the bed, and then like and then I think that was a big turnaround
Mm-hmm.
kind of moment, right?
But also because we had a very honest conversation about why this was happening, right? And then just realizing, hey, there were a bunch of transitions that were happening in our life at that time,
Yeah.
right? That threw off some of our rhythms that
Yeah.
we were used to.
Yeah.
And we talked about this earlier on just now. But, when that happens, actually, we lost some of the things that made it fun, made
Yep.
it good.
Yeah, or that filled our
Yeah.
tank,
That
that
filled
gave
our tank,
gave
yeah.
us the strength to see through it. And when we actually came together and talked about it, it was like, okay, it's actually not complicated, lah.
Mm,
Right? It's actually quite simple.
yes.
The things that actually we had to restore or put back in place to help us get on the right track again.
Yeah. And this is a journey that we go on, right? I think as we wrap up today's conversation,
Yeah.
many, many useful things. It helps me to reflect too, I think personally. Just our own growth in our marriage, personally, but together also,
Mhm.
right? It's not like a fix all, and it's not a one time thing. Just because you've done it once, now forever you'll be fine and good, and
Yeah.
you never have to work on it.
Yeah.
I think that's not the reality of marriages and not the reality of life. But it's a journey. And we have to keep going through valleys. We'll have to keep going through, and we will, scale mountaintops together. But in all those seasons, it's saying, hey, we're doing this together.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
That we've made that commitment. And when we say those things, we mean it.
Mhm.
And it's going to last us a lifetime.
Till
Right.
death do us part.
Till death do us part. And so I'm very grateful that I'm walking on this journey with you,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it's important. I think we talk about all these like dating episodes because my heart is this, like, marriage is not it's not going to fix all your problems. It's not
It's
going
gonna
to
introduce a lot of problems, actually. But
it's hard.
yeah, that would be great.
But it is honestly like one of the best things that you can do. And the best things that you can experience if like this is healthy and this is good and this, like, God is in the middle of it all. At the end of the day, I think that's it, right? Like, I don't know all the solutions, neither do you. But with God, like, and Jesus at the center of all of this was our prayer. This was always like the way that we lived our lives. Like, God's gonna nudge us in the right direction. The Holy Spirit will speak to us about certain things that we can change, that we can move on. And we'll come up from these valleys, right? We'll come up from these hard times
Yeah.
because we've chosen to stay and we've chosen to remain.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful.
Good. Well, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. On today, we close off. This is the season finale of season 2. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope this conversation has helped you to live full.